攻上香。欢迎收看夏虫解说最高难度星空实况支线任务第1话。本期视频是关于一个我觉得非常有意思的支线任务啊。在这个任务中，我们见到了来自200年前的人类。来着。与珊珊主管交谈，珊珊来迟呗。我们先看一眼啊。哎，这是哪个任务啊？啊，对。啊，戴安娜。人类，不然还能是什么
？Oh, pardon my ignorance. We just didn't expect to find people out here.
啊
We didn't think anyone else left Earth before us.
Imagine being cut off from humankind for that long. How terribly frightening that would be.
Perhaps we should greet our guests.
Of course. Manners. I'm Captain Diana Brackenridge. This is Security Officer Bomani Reader.
虚空枪啊。
And this is Dr. Mabuti da Costa, one of our elders.
A pleasure to meet you.
马不提。这是什么飞船？
You've come aboard the Earth colony ship Constant.
永恒号。
Generations ago, we set forth from the planet Earth with the mission of colonizing a new habitable world in the spirit of our ancestors nearly a millennium ago.
我叫嘚儿王夏虫，是来这里帮忙的。
I see. As you may have presumed, we're in a bit of a bind. Our ship has finally completed its near 200-year journey from Earth, only to find our new home seemingly colonized by, well, we don't know. Communications haven't been successful, so your arrival is fortuitous. Perhaps you'd be willing to act as a middle person between ourselves and the others.
问问，太不可思议了！200年，你们怎么用了这么长时间？
Your question confirms one of our recent theories. It would seem that some form of faster-than-light travel or space-bending technology was invented during our long journey. That would explain why we would find people this far out into space. I guess technology leapfrogged us at some point. Interesting. I can only imagine that our predecessors didn't believe the technology would ever work, and so they made the decision to leave when they did.
这么说，你了解地表上的那些人？
We do. Well, sort of. We saw structures using our surveying equipment. We've also seen the various ships pass us by. Some even seemed to want to communicate, but couldn't. Of course, we had no idea that they were being piloted by other humans.
应该就是人类吧？你们怎么能活200年那么长？
Well, the short answer is, we didn't. It's a generation ship, which is to say that most of us lived long, happy lives on board and passed our mission down to our children. It was never intended that the original crew would make it to our destination. The goal was always the preservation of the human race above all else. Though, it would seem that was perhaps a bit presumptuous.
空军设备坏了，怎么坏？
We're not entirely sure. Our engineers believe it's possible that our technology just isn't compatible with theirs. All we hear when using them to communicate with anyone is a bunch of disturbing noise. It gave me the heebie-jeebies at first.
Heebie-jeebies. 那些异类是人类，他们是抵达这里第一批人。
Of course, we know that now. Human or not, we were still unable to communicate our intentions. As soon as we discovered them, we fully expected negotiations would be necessary. Now then, please follow me. There's much to discuss first. We'll speak more on the matter once we reach the bridge.
跟随布拉克利奇船长。我如果愿意的话，是不是也可以把这艘船给屠了？
I do not believe we have need to fear our guest, but I'll allow it if you insist. Welcome to the Earth colony ship Constant. In the early 2100s, my ancestor, Rupert Brackenridge, researched a number of scientific scenarios: climate change, asteroid impact, nuclear war, global pandemic, and more. Each scenario showed the likelihood of an extinction-level event to be within 50 years. He fully believed Earth was destined to be rendered uninhabitable. We've always assumed that's what happened. So, he gathered the best and brightest he could find, built the Constant, and set a course for this planet here. We were told that it was the largest, most advanced ship ever constructed on Earth at the time. If you can believe, entire generations have been born, lived, and died on this ship. It really goes to show that there are no limits to human ingenuity and perseverance.
Just because our equipment's old doesn't mean it won't work to take down troublemakers.
So, here we are.
I have to say, with technology this outdated, I'm amazed this vessel is able to navigate at all.
逛博物
It's almost
馆，
like walking through a museum.
但是这个屏幕看着还可以呀，和现在飞船没啥太大区别。聊吧。
Now that you're here, I can finally give my crew a chance at a new life.
问问，当殖民飞船的船长困难吗？
Difficult is the wrong word. It can be both challenging at times and also exciting. Our mission was to rebuild humanity on a distant world, believing that we were Earth's last hope. To think that while there has always been a Brackenridge in the captain's chair, that I am the one to finally oversee our journey's end is truly exhilarating. But with this stumbling block in our path, at this final moment, I fear tough choices will need to be made.
那你的船员现在怎么样了？
A bit frazzled, as you can imagine. People are anxious about discovering that we're not alone, and also worried about what will come to pass. While we hope we can work out a deal with the people on the surface, they seem reluctant to reach out, so there's no telling what will come of that. I do know that we can't afford to stay here in orbit forever. The ship was built to sustain us for many years with backup provisions just in case, but even that will come to an end eventually.
确实啊，你当船长多少年了？
I think I'm coming up on 6 years now. I was only a teenager when my father died, passing command of the ship to me, as is tradition. Because of that, I've had to sort of learn as I go along instead of taking years of study and apprenticeship under the prior captain. I think some people on the ship resent me for not having the level of experience as my predecessors. But at the same time, without my command, we likely wouldn't have made it here so quickly.
这么说，你现在似乎需要一些帮助。
Well, as I mentioned, we've been unsuccessful in communications with anyone up until you arrived, though not for lack of trying. But since you're asking, maybe you'd be willing to be a sort of diplomat between us and them as we attempt to resolve our situation. Does that sound agreeable to you?
没问题呀。对我有什么好处？你的通讯系统出了什么问题了？
We suspect that our equipment is woefully obsolete compared to whatever you all have now. In all honesty, we never expected to need to communicate with anyone, so our comms aren't particularly robust. That limits our options. We even attempted communicating with lights and sounds, something we saw in an old movie, but I don't believe they picked up on it. If anything, it may have inadvertently alarmed them.
确实哈。我会帮忙，告诉我该怎么做。
We know there's a settlement on the planet below, meaning people were here before us. You see, we intended to settle here, but we assumed that they intend to defend their claim given their presence here. We'd like you to go speak to them on our behalf and help us negotiate a solution, preferably one that favors us.
明白。如果你拥有这颗星球所有权，其他人怎么能在这里定居呢？
When we left Earth, there were no claims to planets this far out into space. We had assumed that we were the only ones attempting a generational journey such as this, meaning that there would be no need for a formal claims process. Regardless, my ancestor, Rupert Brackenridge, did manage to file a charter for this planet's first colony to be named New Jamestown. According to his records, no one took it seriously when he filed it, so Likely it was either ignored or the records were lost to the ages. Given humanity's lack of interest in colonizing the far reaches of space at the time, it shouldn't have been a problem. But again, here we are now.
行吧，正式的文件没了。
Based on the data our ancestors had when they launched this endeavor, it was determined that this was the perfect planet for us. Even if we had another viable candidate planet, we lack the resources to get there. And as you know, it took us 200 years to get here. Our people have no desire to go back to drifting the stars so their children's children can possibly settle on an inferior planet.
你要让我转告他们什么？
Excellent. Make no mistake, this is our planet, and we intend for them to see this our way. So, speak with their leadership and see if you can negotiate a solution on our behalf. Preferably, get them to see things our way. Report back to me and let me know what they say, and we'll go from there.
去另一边定居，远离其他人。
We thought about it, but it simply won't do. I need to think about the distant future of our people.
啊？
Sure, our first settlement may be small, but our predecessors dreamt of our new civilization spreading across the globe. That will be difficult if someone else plans to do the same. While we're not completely close to the idea of sharing, it's much easier if we have complete domain over this world.
行吧，他们野心也不算大，只是占领一颗星球而已。
Now, it makes little sense to give up before you try. Thank you, and good luck.
行，走吧。我看这里有什么这个东西需要打扫卫生的吗？
Piloting the old constant has been fun. I'm looking forward to flying some fancy new ships when this is all
Just
over.
stay out of trouble.
看看，啊，这就带红标了，那算了。
Careful waving that fancy gun around. You don't need to see what it can do.
如果我是对的呢，是吧？
That sounds so familiar. Something from histories, things that I've read. Oh, I feel I should know who this person is, but somehow it's escaped my memory.
We've got strict rules around here. They're strict for a reason.
行，走吧。哟，
We were never trained to address threats coming from outside our ship.
这防卫挺森严呐。
Never seen a ship like yours before.
看这边，哦，鸟语花香了。哇哦，各种植物，能跳下去吗？跳不下去。哎呦，差点和萨罗娃亲上。这怎么下去呢？天堂乐园。 天堂乐园这名字怎么这么耳熟呢？啊，这不是我和莎拉结婚的地方吗？哎呀！啊，来吧，和这个领导对话吧。你是33是不是？ 你就是33主管，33来迟的33主管。
Welcome to Paradiso. Jiro Sukiyama at your service.
也不像日本人
Do you
呐。
have a security concern, or is there something else I can help you with?
你们度假村一般会遇到什么样麻烦？先聊聊天，套套近乎。
Honestly, it's not as exciting as you might think most of the time. More often than not, we're just handling drunk and disorderly conduct. Heck, even pirates leave us alone for the most part. I think it's because some of them actually vacation here. As long as they're not bothering anyone, we've been told not to worry about them.
行， 安保隶属于联职或自由星系联盟吗？
Neither. We're our own private force. The Paradiso Group pays top dollar for top-notch security.
私人部队。
And I dare say we're some of the best in the business. We have to be out here on the fringes of the settled systems.
可以啊，那我们直接把他们屠了，是不是？这个误会就能解决了。看来你就是我要找的人了。
Something I can help you with?
我代表轨道上的飞船前来谈话，那是地球殖民飞船永恒号。
Ah, it has a name. Good. Then you're already familiar with the situation, I take it. Do you know what they want?
那是艘来自地球的旧殖民飞船，他们认为自己有权在这里定居。
Interesting. We obviously have no records of a colony ship claiming this planet. Whatever the case, you'll need to speak with Oliver Campbell, the CEO for the Paradiso Group. He's in charge of bringing all formal decisions before the board and helping to make calls on them. I'll let him know you're on your way.
好的，谢谢。看这有啥东西啊？你们有没有私藏什么东西啊？啊，没有。
Hi there. I've got a lot on my plate right now, but I'm happy to help if you need it.
不用不用，这还怎么在找隐形眼镜了啊？不是。
Excuse me, you can't just waltz in there.
哦
Do you have an appointment?
可以这么说啊。你们有一艘飞船在轨道上出了问题，我说呢。
Oh, you're the one they're waiting for then.
是的。
Do you need anything else from me before you meet with the board?
来个一键三连。能告诉我一些关于董事会成员的事吗？问问。
What I could tell you would get me in a lot of trouble. Most of them are typical C-level execs.
C
I
级
doubt
高
you
管
even。need to use your imagination for that. The ones that show up to work day to day, at least. I swear, I've never even met some of them because they chill at their own private, secluded beach homes all the time. Anyway, be smart around Oliver. He's got a way of getting what he wants without you realizing it. And that's all I'll say.
行，在天堂乐园工作是种怎样的体验呢？
I can't speak for anyone else, but I've got a pretty high-pressure job working as the executive assistant to the Paradiso board. You can imagine, dealing with a team of execs, trying to manage all of their schedules and their other whims. But it pays well, and they give me a nice executive suite at the hotel to live in. So, it's not all bad. Free access to all the resort's amenities after work helps too.
哇塞，免费的酒店套房，你还想要啥呀？再住上1个月，能省的钱都比工资多了。行，我准备好进入会议室了。
Sure. Have fun in the Shark Tank.
鲨鱼
And
缸
don't。worry, even they call it that.
哎呦，哦，你们好，
I just feel that we should be focusing on the natural beauty of this
巴拉姆
planet.
扒拉谁呢？在这儿？
Amenities.
There are millions of
Shima.
planets out there. People can go to any one of them. The resort facilities are precisely what we bring to the table. Heck, it's the only thing we've really got to offer.
Ah, I don't want to risk us coming off as just another artificial, shady, trash-filled dump like Neon. That's not who we are. We've got something special here. We should embrace that.
Balom's right.
Thank you.
We don't want to compete with Neon. Bayou's ruthless. He'll do anything he can to eliminate the competition. We don't need that kind of trouble. That being said, I think there's a middle ground. Maybe build up the beachfront in a boardwalk amusement park. I've had this idea to build artificial hot springs, that sort of thing.
呀，
Sounds good.
沙拉
I'll look
请不当外人啊，
into
就直接坐下了
Circle back around to
啊。
this.
啊，他们几个也不见外啊。
If it's not important, bring it up with Kiwi.
Just doing my part to make sure
当着我的
Paradiso
面啊，
remains
在这
a
讨论这个天堂的未来发展事项。行，奥利弗，坎贝尔，
We'll make some time for you, but keep it quick, yeah?
董事会真的只有3个人吗？
No, of course not. There's several more. We're just the ones who show up day to day.
啊，
The others spend their time lazing on the beach or
这人
gallivanting
有点像陶
off-world.
德呀。
Doesn't bother me though. Less cooks in the kitchen means I get to make all the big decisions around here. Seems to be working out for us just fine.
啊，可以和我讲讲天堂乐园吗？我来这儿干哈来的？找董事会成员介绍。
We the
我面儿太大
Paradiso
了。
Group bought the rights to this planet years ago with the intent of turning it into the biggest and best resort in the universe. To that end, I'd say we've succeeded. As such, no other leisure enterprises may operate on the planet without renting land from us. But as you can see, none can afford such a deal.
你们度假村不归定居星际群管辖，对吗？问问。
Not quite. We just don't answer to the Freestar Collective or the United Colonies. Makes things easier. We don't pay any taxes. We don't need to follow their laws. All the benefits, none of the drawbacks.
还有这好处呢。
And no one mind, because half the politicians and other big shots love vacationing here. Works for everyone.
行啊，找到这个法律的漏洞了，在这偷税漏税。我想知道有关轨道中那艘奇怪飞船的事。据说你了解那艘船。
I am. And you must be the diplomat Giro told me about.
没错。
Welcome, welcome. Normally I'd offer you an all-inclusive stay at our resort before we spoke. But given the circumstances, I'm going to cut to the chase. We've got our friends, the aliens, up there, causing all sorts of problems for our resort. You like that? The marketing team came up with it. The thought is, if we can't get rid of them, it might actually attract more tourism. Come see the aliens!
为什么你会觉得这个问题那么急？
We run a premier resort getaway here. We can't have our guests concocting stories about some budgy old ship hanging around up there. As it is, we've had to reroute our luxury liners around the other side of the planet on entry so no one sees it. It's bad for business. We need to nip this in the bud and take care of it before the tourists catch on and cause a scene.
人家才不会轻易上当呢。我们先出，真可耻，你知道那不是真的。我们先处理手上的事吧。人家才不会。
You'd be surprised what people fall for. Locally sourced island fruit essences, for instance. It's just the same old fruits brought over from Earth ages ago, but we get nearly 10 times the market for them. But you're right, no one's going to buy aliens. Remind me to fire the marketing team.
What?
So tell me, what's the actual deal with this massive eyesore of a ship, besides scaring people away?
与沙拉摩根对话。看看啊，这是一艘4代飞船，上面全是来自地球殖民者，漂泊200年才到这里。他们是在宇宙中漂泊200年，拼命想要安定下来的旧殖民。我相信你可以利用这一点，毁灭我们星球的外星母舰。他们认为拥有你的星球。
Well, that's something. Shame we can't just tell them kindly to bugger off. Something tells me that's not going to work. Now, tell me, what are we going to do about it? Give me some proposals, people. I need something to work with here.
We could offer to resettle them here. There's more than enough space.
They could stay here, temporarily, but it'll cost them. Quite a bit, too. They'd need to work off all their debts before being allowed to leave.
Maybe not. What if we help them get out of here? Outfit their ship with a grav drive so they can find a new home. We could even lend our engineers to help and give their captain an updated star map. What do you think?
Sounds costly. We can't absorb that cost, and it's unlikely they even have compatible currency, let alone enough for the transaction. Someone else would have to foot the bill.
200年前的货币不是应该更值钱吗？
Anyway, Seema's got the right idea. Either works for me. Just tell me what you want to do.
所以他们可以留在这里，但会变成契约奴。他们就在星球另一边定居下来，不行吗？
We own this planet, they don't. Here at Paradiso, we don't like leaving things to chance. Who knows what these people will do with their land? Imagine the landscaping disasters they may come up with, and how that might mar the satellite imagery of the planet in our brochures. No, much better to assimilate them into our culture if they come here to live, rather than leave it to chance.
也是啊，这些是活生生的人，你却担心景观，太荒唐了。
Absurd or not, that's our official stance. I make the decisions that are best for our entire group. You don't.
来问问。所以他们可以留在这里，但会变成契约奴。
I didn't say that specifically. This would be a mutual contract for room and board in exchange for services rendered. Of course, there's no telling how long this arrangement will last, given the substantial costs we'd need to take on in order to accommodate them here, including their continued room and board. But this may save the resort on operating costs in the long term, as we'd be able to let go of some of our current paid staff.
我操！啊，行，为什么要出钱买重力推动器？
It's not our responsibility to bear the brunt of that cost. We're being more than generous by offering the use of our engineering team to help install it. A custom grav drive can't come cheap, and I assume they have neither the monetary means nor the connections to get a hold of that kind of technology. That leaves the only other party in this negotiation. You.
哎呀，彻底消失！你是在叫我毁掉那艘飞船吗？
I'm not suggesting anything, other than it would make our lives so much easier if that ship ceased existing. Make of that what you will.
我们让其他执法单位来处理这事不就好了？报警。
We operate outside of the Free Stars only, you see, partially because we don't want anyone else meddling in our affairs. And we'd rather not draw attention to it, as I've mentioned. It could be bad for business. We'd much rather settle this independently.
哎呀，我想好了。
And which proposal will you be taking to the good captain? I assume there's a captain?
如果一切过后，他们依旧声称对这个星球所有权早于你们，那该怎么办？
They'd be hard-pressed to defend their claim in any courts. Our charter goes back years. It was registered with both the UC and Free Star Collective, per the Centaurus Proclamation. We may be outside the settled systems, but that charter's official as can be. I'm sorry, but you're going to need to be the one to break the news to them that they need to make a compromise or leave.
但是他们也有那个证件的是吧？是什么会让那样的飞船掉头离开？
I have no idea, because I'm not suggesting anything of the sort. But it's a wonder that old ship made it all the way here in such a relatively short time. Must have really been pushing themselves. An engineer friend of mine told me once that the reactors on those old ships have a tendency to self-destruct if they overload. Of course, their engineers must have taken great care not to push it too far. Someone would likely have to override the safety systems in the reactor computer. But who would do such a thing?
Don't even think for one moment that this would be acceptable behavior. You can't just blow up their ship. That's insane.
那我就问一下子。我会说服他们接受和解协议。和解协议，那他们来了就有合同了。不平等条约。我会购买重力推动器，说服他们去别的星球定居。哎。
Good on you. You want to see a man named Benny St. James over at Hope Tech. He's the best in the business. If anyone can retrofit a 200-year-old ship with a modern grav drive, it'd be him. We'll coordinate our engineering team with his when you return, though you may have to help the Constance engineers prepare for it on their end. Good luck.
I know this was a difficult decision, but if it's any consolation, I think you've made the right choice.
哎呀。
Compared to the destruction of their vessel and relegating them to a life of servitude, I'd say this is the best chance they've got.
Right. On behalf of the Paradiso Group, we appreciate your help.
I have something I need to discuss with you.